There have been any number of different corporations and groups that are being bailed out already through legislation that's passed or that are planned to be bailed out in the near future. But one so far that has received limited support is the post office, which has been a target of Donald Trump and right-wingers for some time. And right now, they are very much in need. The Postal Service is calling on Congress to provide $75 billion in cash, grants, and loans, but President Donald Trump is standing in the way of any relief funding for USPS. He recently threatened to veto the $2 trillion Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act if the legislation contained any money directed to bail out the postal agency, according to a senior Trump administration official and a congressional official. So what they ended up doing was there was this back and forth with, I believe it was Mnuchin, over the amount that could be given just in a loan. No actual, just no strings attached money, which every industry is getting. Like if you're running Carnival Cruises, they're giving you billions of dollars because that's essential. But the Postal Service, that can just die, hypothetically. And so they got a loan, basically. But right now it's projecting that they're going to lose $2 billion each month because, they're going to have to continue to serve. And by the way, more people are going to be using the Postal Service to have things delivered, while at the same time, they're not being substantially assisted by our government.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think some of the like learning more about the Postal Service is super interesting because of how, the federal government, especially particularly under Republicans, it's like, where is the last vestige where we can make money? We've already gutted the Department of Education where charter schools are on the rise, right? Like what's left? Like, let's take the Postal Service, like of all the things, and the other thing that makes no sense about this is Trump's number one enemy, ostensibly, is Jeff Bezos. He hates Bezos. He hates Bezos because of the Washington Post. He hates Bezos. I don't know. It's like the only time where he and Bernie Sanders somewhat align, although he's going to try to martyr Sanders in the general.
Yep.
And like, it's like, oh, you want to go against Bezos? The USPS helps. Like you have the countervailing force to Amazon at your fingertips. Give it some goddamn money. And the other thing to know is that apparently the post office hasn't been taking federal funds for decades. Like, they have all these stipulations on their money. So actually, they really rely on you buying stamps, and mostly your mom and your grandma and the cute little springtime stamps that they buy, which we think is so silly, but we totally raid their stamp collection when we visit them.
Yeah.
They haven't been taking federal funds for a long time, so they've been losing money for many, many years.
Exactly. And, it's funny you mentioned the stamps because now, as sort of a protest, lots of people are apparently going out and buying a bunch of stamps. But I'm glad that you brought up Amazon because, I found references back in 2018 to him creating a task force to try to destroy the Postal Service as he was tweeting constantly about Amazon back then. I mean, he has a far more personal reason to want to destroy it, but it's not new. I mean, right-wingers have been trying to do it, even though I do want you to bear in mind, the interesting thing is that the right wing, which loves the Constitution, believes that we should take the raw text of the Constitution and never change it or update it, seem to be ignoring the Article 1, Section 8, Clause 7 part that says the U.S. government has the power to establish post offices and post roads. Nope, we should give that to some private corporation and just privatize it, which they 100% want to do and plan to. The good thing is that right now there are a lot of good politicians, including some of the best progressives in the country, who are fighting back against this. AOC was tweeting about the 2006 Postal Accountability and Enhancement Act. That's where they made the change that effectively created these new onerous requirements when it came to funding pensions, which were designed to bankrupt it over time. So what do you know? They're losing money a decade and a half after. And, Bernie Sanders tweeted, "We cannot allow Donald Trump to use this horrific pandemic as an opportunity to bankrupt and privatize the Postal Service. Now more than ever, we need a strong and vibrant Postal Service to deliver mail 6 days a week. Congress must act now to save it." And I mean, there are so many jobs, like the people who work for the Postal Service, 500 have tested positive for coronavirus. There's nearly 500 more that are presumed positive. 19 have died. And so, again, this is one of those groups that is on the front lines, interacting with people, touching people. They're out there trying to help us maintain some semblance of a life. And Republicans are, as in so many areas, trying to use this opportunity to accomplish the goals that they came into the crisis with.
Yeah. And I do think like there is something that each American can do in this case. I remember I was in a line at the post office, which was no more than 10 minutes at most, maybe even like it was less than that. And a guy behind me waits for like 30 seconds and then is like, oh, this is BS, and then leaves. And it's like, this is what I'm saying. And I'm sure he hates Trump, and I'm sure he voted Democrat. But then show it with your money and your patience and your time. Don't just like as a, reaction and sort of a, Pavlovian thing, go to Amazon to buy what you need, right? You can support the post office. You can go and mail packages through them. I do believe they have pickup services, right? They come to your mailbox and get your letters. Like, so just to say, like, let's all remember that there is something we can do to support the post office.
Yeah.
If we can sacrifice a little bit of like minimal less convenience. You don't need everything in 2 days, okay? I know you don't.
The people who get so frustrated like in the post office, it's never that long. Honestly, I don't even think the DMV, like, you have the most advanced entertainment technology that's ever been created in your hand. I don't mean hypothetically. I mean literally. All of you have your phone in your hand right now, and you are always looking for opportunities to bring it out and look at it. How about a 10-minute wait at the post office? Seems like a perfectly good opportunity to watch a Quibi or whatever. Like, you know that you want to use your phone. Stop. Like, people want to be entertained, but they also want to complain, I think. Right. Yeah. Nobody gets to be bored anymore. There's a billion books being written literally this second. Go on Instagram. You know how many hot people are on Instagram? All of them. All of them are on Instagram. You don't get to be bored. Do something.